and certainly affected Malik Beasley when it comes to his signability. ESPN has cited sources, and I think that, I mean, this is news that was out there, but just for people who don't know, that the Pistons were going to complete we're going to offer him a 3-year, $42 million contract to bring him back. And that got pulled because of this investigation. Other teams also who had interest in Malik Beasley paused those conversations. What might be new is this. Several teams have maintained contact with Beasley's representatives during the last few weeks about his status. So there's a couple things here to follow up regarding Malik Beasley. Is Keith Smith from Hoops Hype reported the following, or Hoops Hype had this from a reporter named Keith Smith, because the NBA has all these interesting contract categories and loopholes. The Pistons still hold, according to Keith Smith, Pistons still hold Malik Beasley's non-bird rights as an unrestricted free agent. So the bird rights are ones that you can essentially go over the cap to re-sign your own free agents. But the Pistons own his non-bird rights, and Detroit can offer Beasley a contract starting at $7.2 million. Detroit is just over $21 million under the luxury tax, with one open standard roster spot. As an unrestricted free agent, Beasley can sign with any team. Bobby Marks of ESPN has now reported that the free agent market has significantly dried up since late June, and then says, Detroit does have the non-bird rights and can sign him for $7.2 million. The Pistons have also signed Karis LeVert, Duncan Robinson, Javonte Green to replace Beasley and Tim Hardaway Jr., and they got Jaden Ivey coming back. So the question is, would you sign Malik Beasley if you are the Pistons? Should they sign Malik Beasley? They can do it. It can be done. Would you do it? And look, one of the variables here is something that I'm a little uncomfortable talking about, and that is it appears in his private life he has had some issues with finances, and I know that it gets reported out there. To me, that's his life and his private stuff, and I don't love that it's out there in the public forum. But at the end of the day, it is a factor when you're a team looking to sign a player. Does any of that stuff creep into your locker room, affect performance, anything like that? And if they were ready to sign him to a contract, that tells me, well, some of these ongoing issues were in the backdrop with Malik Beasley. If they were going to sign him to a contract, it doesn't sound like it was an issue when he was a Piston. So anyway, did they go out and sign some guys to play his spot, to play that role? Yeah. But can you have too many shooters in the NBA? And, at this point, you get a little bit of a bargain on Malik Beasley. I personally think you bring him back. And I'm not worried about the rest of that stuff. You?
It's a no-brainer. I bring him back. He was, before we heard any of this stuff of the investigation, it was a no-brainer. He needs to be brought back. He was a dead-eye shooter last year, 41, almost 42% shooting from three-point. He's a heater off the bench. You need that guy. And I recognize they went out and got some other guys kind of like that. Okay, that's great. Like you said, can't have enough shooters. They have a roster spot open. Here you go. This is the guy that gets the roster spot. And he's the first guy off the bench, as far as I'm concerned. Give him a contract. Do you get a discount? You might, but I don't know if you want to play that game either, because you'll lose him to some team that's probably willing to pay him the money. I don't think Tom Gores is afraid of spending money. I think that's pretty safe to say. The way that he has operated as owner of the Pistons, he is not afraid to spend money. Don't have to worry about luxury tax or anything. He'll pay it. I mean, he paid, $70 million, whatever it was, to get rid of a coach. Doesn't care. I mean, I'm sure he cares a little bit, but as far as his team, he wants his team to win, taking the right steps to do so. They took such a giant leap last year as a team. We're excited about this upcoming season. A healthy Jaden Ivey, this other supporting cast of characters coming in. You've got a superstar in the making and almost a superstar already in Cade Cunningham. Maybe he is a superstar. I'd like where this team's at, and Malik Beasley completes this team.
248-539-9797. Now, this is according to his attorney. And I feel like my guess is that the Pistons probably know more. And by more, I mean, when this story gets out, if it's indeed true that he has been cleared of any wrongdoing, which, by the way, I'm happy for Malik.
Yeah.
Like, that could be, and it's kind of brutal timing, especially if he didn't even wade into any dangerous waters when it comes to gambling. It's brutal timing, and I wonder if he has a bit of a case. Say, hey, how did this happen right before free agency? Because this affected my contract. That would suck. That would absolutely suck. But, you know, I'm cognizant of the fact that this is his attorney saying this. So we await confirmation from the league. My guess is if it is true, the Pistons know that it's true. They can go to the league and say, is he cleared of any wrongdoing here? And then they got to decide, are we good with adding him to this locker room, the changes we made? And they can weigh whether or not any of that personal stuff is an issue. But I would tend to think it wasn't an issue because it was going on in the background last year, and they wanted to bring him back. So I say bring him back.
Yeah, I guess I'm the opposite of you guys. I don't bring him back. I think the ship has sailed. And for me, it's about the culture. And I know, Doug, you just mentioned the culture seemed fine last year. Obviously, they were playing well. They made it to the playoffs, almost upset the Knicks in the first round. But he is supposed to be the veteran of this group, and this is a very young group, a very young core, right? Mm-hmm. And I just don't think his off-the-court decisions are what I want around my young guys. And he's just, I kind of try to give him the benefit of doubt earlier in his career, because this is not just this past season. It's kind of been through his entire career. He's made these off-the-court decisions that aren't the smartest and most mature moves. And then even if he's cleared of this FBI investigation with the gambling, there's the whole, the report about him not paying his rent and owing barbers and all this stuff. It's just decisions that I don't think are good for my culture of my young team. And they have went on and signed other guys. Whether how you feel about Duncan Robinson or not, that's a guy that's supposed to take, some of that 3-point shooting, that they lost from Beasley. Karis LeVert, another player they got. I think they've moved on. He'd come back. If he did come back, I'd imagine it would be at a discounted rate. But to me, it's not worth it at this point. I think they're in the infancy stages of just building something really good here. And I don't want a personality like that messing up. And I say that because he didn't mess it up on the court last year. We saw that, right? But yeah. I just can't get over the off the court stuff that he's done. And
I hear you, and that is concern, and it's a very legitimate concern to bring up. And I guess I trust that that Trajan Langdon and crew there understand all of that, and they know way more about that than we'll ever know. Maybe there are circumstances that just aren't brought to light that if they were, we'd go, oh yeah, okay, I got it, understand what happened there. But that is legitimate concern. We're in a weird place where I actually trust the GMs of our teams for the most part.
Yeah.
Some have a little bit more proving to do, but with Brad Holmes, we've gotten there. Scott Harris is earning our trust back and earning the trust period. It's only been a year that Trajan Langdon's been on the job, but boy, what a year it was. And Eisman's got some more proving to do with making the right moves to get this team back where it needs to be. But am I wrong for trusting Langdon? If they don't make the move, it's fine. Right now, you're asking me, do I want to bring a guy back who shot so well for this team last year and was a big piece? Yeah, I want to bring him back. But King's point is valid.
Do you think Malik Beasley can sue the league? Because if there is no merit to this, and it's one thing to say he's no longer under investigation. It's another. That doesn't mean he's completely innocent. And this is just his attorney. So we're waiting for more confirmation on this story. I kind of feel like you'd have a case like dude,
a defamation of character type thing.
You guys annihilated my marketability.
Yeah.
And, or is it just a case of incredibly unfortunate timing and bad luck for Malik? I don't know. And Kang, I get it, man. I get the concerns. I like the idea that you want to give everybody the benefit of the doubt. And on top of that, people make mistakes. Now, this mistake, like that, what it was accused of is one you cannot make. That is more than a mistake. That's a career ender. That's a ban from leaguer. You can't. And everybody should know that. But if he didn't even wade into that territory, I'd be like, dude, I might have a case against the league or the media or whomever.
Sure.
248-539-9797. It'll be interesting to see how this plays out. Is there any hesitation to go sign Malik Beasley? And we threw it out there as a part of a Twitter poll at Dungator971. Detroit should sign him or don't re-sign him. Interesting results. We will get to what the voting stands right now. And remember, if you comment on that poll underneath, there is a chance we will read it on the air. So at Dungator971 on Twitter, go vote and give us your 2 cents. It's Karsch and Anderson here on 97.1 The Ticket.